Welcome in, quick hitters. Welcome in, Goodymo short crew. Weary Wednesday. What's been up? Super Bowl. We're going to get to my picks in a minute, but I wanted to address the NBA. You know the NFL season is coming to an end. So where do we pick it up at? NBA season. Houston Rockets. Whole handful of teams, but we're going to cover the Houston Rockets here real quick. Trade deadline is around the corner. The big question is Jalen Green. What are you going to do with Jalen Green? That's a tough decision. At least it was a tough decision early on in the season. Right now, he's trying to make it a little hard to say, hey, we're going to ship you off. We're going to put you in a trade deadline. Beginning of this season, Jalen Green has underperformed. Let's just be real with it. Underperformed. His third year coming in. And I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions for the front office, because they have been shopping him around. He's been playing out of his mind the last handful of games. That's the only thing that's made this decision a little bit tricky, because he is a young talent. Sometimes it might take a little longer than 3 years for him to finally get it. He's been playing a different brand of basketball here in the last 5 to 6 games. I don't know if he finally gets it or he knows his name is around in trades. Pressure is getting to him, especially early on in the season. Now it seems like he's a little more relaxed, just going out there playing basketball. Like I said, that's a tough decision to make. He's driving to the hole strong. He's actually starting to finish layups. Early on in the season, he's missing those layups. He's getting knocked off his spot. So that decision to keep him or to go ahead and trade him is going to be a tough one coming up on this deadline. Do they make a move on Jalen Green? Or they just say, hey, we're going to keep him. We're going to find out. We're going to give him another year to come in. But what I don't want them to do is open up this pocketbook and you get the same player. He's showing flashes now. But is the old Jalen Green or the normal Jalen Green, will he show back up? So it's real tricky and it's a tough decision. Me personally, after 3 years, you are who we thought you were.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
That's any player. Can he get better from after 3 years? Yeah, he can, but it won't improve that much. As far as him being a superstar player in this league, no. I don't see that. I think one day he could be an all-star. He continue to work. But right now, he's still trying to find himself. He's been inconsistent on his jump shot. He's just now starting to drive and make layups. He's missed a whole lot of layups early on in the season. I give him an A for effort. The guy goes out there and he does want to play hard. You can see that. He tries hard. He just keeps getting in his own way, whether he's turning over the ball in crunch time or he's just missing some wild shots. He's not getting to his good spots where he can get good percentage shooting. So he's kind of a wild card. He's all over the place. The guy can score 40 on any given night, and he can score 3 points on any given night. Look, I'm a Jalen Green fan, but the more he plays and the more the season goes on, you kind of drift away from it because you're like, man, we can't invest too much into this guy. Now, Cam Whitmore, who recently started getting more playing time, is starting to make Jalen Green expendable, and that's why I come to this conclusion. To me, if you're the Houston Rockets, if you're not going to trade him, which they probably will, his name's been all over the place. They probably already got the deal in place. They're just waiting close to that deadline to go ahead and throw it out there. But if you're not going to trade him, then you have to listen to his production. Cam Whitmore has stepped up. Do he still need polishing? Of course he does. He's a rookie. Sometimes he can stumble over his own feet, or he'll take a bad shot, or he'll drive wildly to the basket. But he has some good sides to him too. He brings energy every time he hits that floor. He's trying hard. He's a better shot maker, it seems at this point, than Jalen Green. Jalen Green's more textbook. It looks prettier. But right now, Cam Whitmore is hitting it at a higher clip. Not only that, he's adding a little more ferocious defense. He's driving to the bucket, strong, aggressive, looking to dunk on people. You don't want to stop this guy's progression. He's young, but you want to throw him in the fire right now. Throwing him in the fire right now is getting him ready, not only for this season, later on, whether you make the playoffs or not, but it's going to fare well next season. Throw these guys in the fire, man. We got that young talent like that. Don't just let him sit on the bench, send him to the G League and all this other stuff. No, the time is now. If you got a 2 guard that's not coming through like Jalen Green, inconsistent every ball game, he needs to go to the bench. Let him be the spark plug, come off the bench. When you're inconsistent like that, depending on game in, game out, depending on how he's playing, you go off of that. If he's hot, he gets more minutes. Keep him in the ball game. It's very simple. When he's off, not playing defense, turning over the ball, come sit right here next to me. Cam Whitmore. Plug him right in. As of late, Cam Whitmore has been the spark. He's been igniting this team with his athleticism, hitting timely 3-pointers, playing defense, getting out in open court. It's just a different element. So the Jalen Green situation is a fragile one. It is fragile because you really don't want to give away great talent either. And he has great talent, but he's not a great player. At least not yet. And I believe he's not going to get there. He just don't have the temperament in my mind to get there. He's still trying to find himself, and it's like he's guessing out there. He don't even know what type of player he really wants to be. But Cam Whitmore, he's lacing up the shoes, he's putting on the hard hat, and he's going out there forcing action. You can tell this is a guy who's not afraid of anything. He will take the big shot. He's not afraid to make mistakes. And his ceiling is higher than Jalen Green's to this point, my opinion. But before I get into the next thing, y'all let me know what y'all think about Jalen Green. Should he be traded? Or you think they should take more time with him? Do you think he will finally come around? If not this season, next season. They had 3 years. This is 3rd year. But paying this guy, that will be the issue. And if you trade him, you want to get value back. There's been talks about Mikal Bridges and some draft picks and maybe a role player here and there. I like that. Mikal Bridges coming over to the Rockets at this stage for Jalen Green and some picks and maybe another role player or so. I like that trade. And I'm going to tell you why. Mikal Bridges is already established. Mikal Bridges knows who he is. He can come in and produce immediately. Immediately. Does he have the upside of what Jalen Green possibly could have? No. But we know who he is. We don't know who Jalen Green is right now. We know he's a whole bunch of talent. That's all we know. But we know Mikal Bridges is going to play good defense. We know Mikal Bridges can make big shots. We know Mikal Bridges can get out in the open court. We know he can handle the ball. We know he can slash. We know he's a good teammate. Not going to cause problems, going to put it all in between the lines. We know that. And what he has to bring, he can bring it every night. You don't have to look for 30, 25 a night from Mikal Bridges. We're not asking him to do that. We just need him to plug in some of the tangibles that he's had his whole career so far. Just the little things. Make the big open shot, which he can do. He can defend, he can slash, he can rebound, he can walk the ball up, run the offense a little bit, come off of it, regroup, knock down a big corner shot, top of the key, whatever you need. He can do a whole handful of things, and he's established, and you know what you got. Throw in a couple of draft picks, a couple of role players that know their role, that you can plug in ready right now. Great trade for me. Great trade for the Rockets. So it's something to really think about. But if it's not Mikal Bridges, then it has to be somebody. Somebody's going to make sense for coming off of Jalen Green that's going to produce. Not in 2 or 3 years, produce now. We already got somebody who's possibly can produce in 1, 2, 3 years. That's Jalen Green right now. But like I said, in the last handful of games, he's kind of came on a little bit. He's got a little energy different about him. Seems like he's a little more sure of himself. Don't know what happened. Maybe it's the ticker at the bottom of the TV got him playing. I don't know. But something has changed. And he's starting to drive a little more aggression, and he's being more poised and careful when he's getting there for that layup. He used to just rush it and ricochet it off the glass. Or just get bumped off his spot, lose the ball. It's a turnover. His shot is starting to go a little bit more. So I don't know. Last night against the Indiana Pacers, that one got away. And I'm going to get to that in a minute as well. I want to talk about this Fred VanVleet injury. A lot of talk going around what the Rockets going to do. Can they hold on without Fred VanVleet? How they going to make up offense? To me, this is the best thing to happen to the Houston Rockets. Y'all don't think I'm crazy. Fred VanVleet getting hurt. Nobody wants any player to get hurt or injured and miss a certain amount of time. We don't want that. But he was getting overused. He had to extend his minutes because you play with a younger team. You don't want the games to get away from you. We can understand that. He had to labor a lot of games when he could have been resting. We understand that. But Houston, you didn't even bring Fred VanVleet on board for 5 years, 10 years, for the long run, for the future. No, he came here to make this pit stop, to bring your young guards along, teach them a few things, teach them how to win, understand how to lead a team, how to be poised in crunch time. He mostly was for man Thompson. Get the guys in their spots. When it comes down to crunch time, be the cool head, knows how to play under pressure. Fred VanVleet adds all of that. He goes out, you got to look at it as a great opportunity for all the players on the team. Fred VanVleet already done what he needed to do for us, teaching these guys, showing them the winning way. They've been watching all season and training camp. How much more do we need to do? And that's where Amen Thompson comes in. This is a great opportunity for Amen Thompson. Throw him in the fire. He's a young talent. Got to use it at some point. You can't keep depending on Fred to bail you out. So Fred's on the sideline now, just like a coach. Show what you got. There's a big opportunity for Cam Whitmore, a lot of guys on the team to step up their game when their head general is out. This could be beneficial down the road. It could be beneficial coming into next season. You can't just lay your hat on Fred VanVleet. He's here for a short period of time. That's what his contract says. Okay? He's not the future for the Rockets. He's just getting them in place, teaching them the winning way, how to win games, especially coming down in crunch time. Now, saying all of that, last night against the Indiana Pacers, Rockets had no business losing that game, but they get in a little rut every time it gets to the third or fourth quarter. We always talk about this. They start playing a different way. I don't know if they feel the pressure, but the offense don't look good. They start turning over the ball in crucial moments. They've been doing it all season here and there, but they're still winning games along the way, and man, losing some big ones. Big ones they should have in the bag. Last night against the Indiana Pacers, that one should have been in the bag. And to say this, if Fred VanVleet was playing last night, they would have won that game. He'd have got the ball to the right people it needed to go to. It wouldn't have got turned over at a rate that it did. And he knows how to milk a little clock when you got things rolling. Get into your sets. Don't start getting sped up. Don't let this team get you in an up and down game to where you're shooting fast, turning over the ball, not completing assignments. That's how they gonna get back in the game. You pretty much controlled it most of the game. And then you found yourself in a rut. Fred VanVleet would have got you out of that rut if he was in there with timely baskets. He'd have drove the ball. He'd have got to the free throw line, calmed things down, adding points. Getting the ball down to Şengün, slowing it down a little bit, then hitting, Jalen Green here and there coming off them pin downs. Getting the ball to the right spots, clapping them up, saying, hold on, what are we doing? Slow down a little bit. We got this in the bag. We got a 10-point lead. Let's savage this now. But when you didn't have him on the floor, thing kind of spiraled out of control and you lost what you had. When you had you a nice, comfortable lead, you controlled the game. Because Indiana, of course, on paper, they're a better team than you're supposed to be anyway. And the record shows that, of course. But you had them last night. And you kind of got out of your way. You stopped playing the way they got you the lead. I don't know, when that clock starts ticking down, it's like this team starts feeling a little pressure, and a team just started emerging, coming back, and it seemed like, oh, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to stop it. So we're going to start fumbling the ball away, not getting our offense anymore. We're pressing. Now we're not even swinging the ball. Now we're playing hero ball. Few dribbles, balls flying. Just get the ball up at the rim at that point. Bad shots, they coming back on the other end. And they more of a veteran squad than y'all are, so they kind of know how to come out of games like that better than you do at this point. And you lost control and you lost that ball game. And it was a tough loss. Very tough loss. Let's look up these standings real quick. Check that out. Rockets are in 12th place. They don't need to drop no further than that. These last games are very crucial for the Houston Rockets. It really is crucial, whether Fred's in there or not. If Fred's going to be out for an extended time, then you need to buckle up and you got to say, games we have in the bag, we cannot lose those anymore. If we have a 20-point lead in the third quarter, it shouldn't dwindle too much lower than that. We should at least be winning this game by 10 points, 9 points when that buzzer sounds. Can't allow teams just to come back on you every time you have a comfortable lead and everything's working well for you. You can't just fall apart. Not in the Western Conference, you can't do that. Right now, y'all not even in the play-in. Y'all was tinkering with it, but now you're in 12th. You got the Warriors ahead of you at 22 and 25. And that's the 11th spot. Can you get the Jazz? To me, y'all should be better than the Jazz. Jazz are 26 and 26, sitting at 500. If you can't be top 10, there's a problem. There's going to be a lot of changes. Rafael Stone is definitely on the hot seat. This year, you should be in a play-in. Hands down. No questions asked. No questions asked. Whether Van Vliet was out for the whole year or not, it should be a play-in. So coming down this stretch, finna go into All-Star break here pretty soon. Trade deadline is right there tomorrow. They need a wheel and deal. I don't think they need to keep this team the same and go. Now, with the team constructed the way it is now, they still should be in a play-in. Don't get me wrong. But add some nice pieces to go along with it, moving for this push, they can get you a little higher than a play-in. You know, you could possibly get in the playoffs. So you got to keep that in mind. So this Jalen Green decision is a huge one. It's a fragile one. It's all of that. But you got to make a decision. Now, what he got on paper right now and on video, like, man, okay, where was this? Seemed like he's picking it up a little bit, like he's starting to care. He's driving harder. He's making nice passes. He's starting to drop his jump shot. What we going to do? What we going to do? So he's trying to make it look confusing. Me personally, if a deal sounds right to me, I'm going to go ahead and make it. I'm going to make it because I've seen enough in pretty much 3 years of what this guy can offer me. And it's up and down, up and down. It could be 30, it could be 3 points. So y'all let me know in that situation with the Rockets. Do Jalen Green needs to go? And if he doesn't go, you need to put Cam Whitmore in the starting lineup. I'm sorry, man. This could be game to game. I don't care which way it goes, but you got to send a message. Now, I know it's a tough decision to make, M. Udoka, because once you make it, it's you can't go back. You know, you got to keep pushing on your decision, or you're just going to, I don't want to say lose the team, but you're going to break some confidence. And Jalen Green looked like a guy who can, his confidence already lost, but it can be shot to a point to where he probably don't even want to play for the Houston Rockets anymore. You know, sometimes a new change of scenery for a guy like that can do him wonders. Right now, the pressure is too intense for him, in my opinion. The spotlight is on him. He knows it coming in his third year. I mean, contract year. I mean, People putting pressure on him for his own teammates, Cam Whitmore. Guys is stepping up. Guys coming off the bench while he's been struggling. So change the scenery, take the pressure off. Offense, go put the ball in his hands and say, show us something, work off of this guy, that guy. It might do wonders for him. It probably will, and maybe that's what needs to happen. And I'm going to tell you right now, something needs to happen. They're at the 12th spot. You can't fall any further. It's hard to make up ground in the Western Conference. These teams are all good. They tit for tat each game, and one game can drop you right out of it. So the Rockets need to go on a run. Simple as that. They need to go on a run. They need to spring together about 3 to 4 game winning streaks. They need to go on a winning streak. They can't win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 4. They can't play that game. They need to string together a good handful of games that they ain't gonna win. They gotta move up the charts right now. And right now, they have some ground to make up. You look at it, you're like, not too bad, not too far. Yeah, it is. Especially where the Jazz are sitting. They got 26 wins. Where you sitting at 23? Between 26 and 23, that's a gap that's hard to make up in the Western Conference. It is. Very much so. So you can't fall too far back. So that's where it sits. Clippers at the top. Shouts out to them, boy. They made that trade when James Harden went over there, man. It was like a dumpster fire. But I tell you one thing, man. James Harden's got that team rolling. They got their mojo going. And they're going to be tough to beat. But when it comes to the playoffs, a whole different story. I think this team won't go to the finals or anything like that. I think they're going to have a good showing like they're doing right now. Once the playoffs come, there's going to be a whole handful of things going to get in their way. Something's going to blow up, and it's not going to work out. It just seems like that always happens. And James Harden, every time playoffs come, y'all already know the story behind that. And then you got to think about health with this team. The health has to be there. So that's it for the Houston Rockets, man. And it's tough, dwindling down. They have to get in the run. They have to get up there. They got to not drop these games they're supposed to have in the bag. First of all, you're supposed to win the games you're supposed to win anyway. There's a lot of teams they play that they're supposed to win. You have to get all of those. Number 2, when you play these powerhouse teams that are teams that are really projected better than you got to pull out some of those too. And not only that, the ones that you're playing well in and leading most of the game, you have to keep them in your bag. Can't allow them to come back like Indiana. That's supposed to be a win. Toronto that's coming up, that's supposed to be a win. You can't play around. You want to make this play in, you got to come in with some focus. Focus. Now, y'all played a lot of these games. Ones y'all lost, y'all played y'all butts off. Nobody's saying the effort wasn't there. What we're saying is when it comes down to crunch time, when you've been leading most of the game, don't fall apart. You got to find something else that's deep inside. Slow this thing down. Get the ball to the proper guys. Don't get careless with the ball. Milk a little bit of that clock, but run your offense. Should be a light bulb or a timeout or something that goes off when we get to the third quarter or 6 minutes left in the game. We need to gather up, figure out what the hell's going on when you're up by 5-6 points. Can't let it spiral out of control. Because once the team takes the lead, it's broken. Pressure already done got to you. Now every shot is diagnosed. So they need to get it together and climb those charts. But that 12th spot is a dangerous place to be. It's a very dangerous place to be. So they got some games coming up. They're very winnable games. And they need to just put them in the bag. And don't worry about Fred VanVleet. When he get back, he gets back. Right now, it's time to go. Amen Thompson, he's been playing well in the starting lineup. He's been playing well coming off the bench. Kind of been filling up the stat sheet in a way, flirting with triple doubles and things like that. He's not going to be looked at as a guy who's going to score 25, 30 points a game. We're not looking from that from Amen Thompson. We just want a solid floor game from him. assists with very less turnovers, being aggressive in spots when he needs to be, make his layups, hit his little jump shot when it's available. We already know he can't shoot that well, but the ones he's wide open or he does a little 12-foot pull-up, we expect him to hit that. When he goes to the hole, we expect him to go strong, like he's been doing. Passing the ball precise, getting it to his guys, and showing you a little flash in the meantime. He could do that. That's all we can ask for, because he's growing. And Cam Whitmore continue to do what you've been doing. Just a little more under control, and sometimes do not get caught up into taking bad shots. I know you've been playing very well, but you don't want to get caught up until you're thinking whatever you do is going to be great. Because sometimes you can put up some bad shots. Let yourself get in the groove first. And when that shot's not going, do what you kind of been doing. Get to the hole. That's your bread and butter. Get to that free throw line. Feel it a little bit. Continue to dunk on people. Knocking them off. Hit your layups. Just stay a little more focused. And as far as handling the ball and making decisions, gather yourself on that. Like I said, I know y'all rookies and y'all young, but turnovers, man, can be detrimental to this team. And we got to be very careful when we playing teams, because once they get out and run and they got us all flustered, there's no way you can win ball games. So take a look at that. Move up in the charts. NBA season, we'll be breaking all this stuff down. Super Bowl around the corner. So before we get out of here, let's take a look at the Eastern Conference real quick. Miami Heat. Y'all know I'm a Heat fan. Home away from home. Y'all know it. They sit in the 7th slot. They've been up and down this year too. Up and down. And they will be in the playoffs, no doubt about that. Pretty much every year the Heat will be in the playoffs. That's not the problem. The problem is you need to finish the deal on a championship. Been knocking on her door a handful of times. Question is Jimmy Butler. We talked about him last year a lot. Y'all know how I feel about that situation. Need a lot more help. You didn't get the Damian Lillard splash. Now you're going to have to try to piece it away. You just picked up Scary Terry. I like that pickup. I really do. Like Scary Terry. Once he get more comfortable, you're going to see more flashes from him. Haven't been great that much here, trying to get his shot down, trying to feel his way, get the offense and new teammates, all of that other good stuff. But I'm not worried about Scary Terry. When it counts the most, he's going to be right there. But you're going to need a little more than that if you want to get to a finals or a championship. So the Heat is kind of running amok, I would say, plugging in guys here and there, which they do every year. Bring these players, unnamed players up, make something out of them. Everybody in and out of lineup through the regular season. And the question is going to come up with Jimmy Butler, which has been coming up. I think it is time to move off of Jimmy Butler. That's my opinion. I think you got what you're going to get from Jimmy Butler, and it's good. What he gives is good. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can do a whole lot of things, but he's starting to get a little more injured now. And I think y'all have learned to try to pace him along the way this year, considering what happened last year, burning him out. And in the playoffs, he almost don't even look like an all-star, running out of gas. So I think y'all trying to, pedal him along the way. I don't know, man. If you get something good, great back, I would consider it. But sooner or later, you have to get off of Jimmy Butler. I mean, he's not the guy he used to be. And you can see that each year, his games are going to start to drop more and more. Getting more injury prone. He's got a lot of wear and tear on him. So you have to fish around, see what you can do. But sitting in the 7th spot for the Heat, they ought to be lucky and thankful for that. And see if you can climb a lot higher. But you got the Celtics at the top, and whoa. Yeah, I would call them the best team in the league right now. That team is on a mission. That team is on a mission. They want that championship bad, and this year it looks like they're going to be right there in the dance once again. Milwaukee Bucks has been falling off of late. Doc Rivers, we can cover that. Hell of a coach. But I tell you what, this is the first time I ever seen a coach get fired. First of all, with that record Adrian Griffin had. But on the flip side of that, you hire another coach right dead pretty much in the middle of the season, and he actually gonna start working for you that season. I don't know if I ever seen that. Now I've seen interim coaches come in that was already on the staff. After you fire head coach, he steps right in. But going out there reaching for another guy, whether he's been fired or he's sitting at the broadcast or with another team, I never seen him just get picked up like that and say, hey, we hiring you, come on right now, right in the middle of the season. Wow. That might have been the first. But who other that it could happen to is a Doc Rivers, of course, right? Doc Rivers is that good to where you could call him up and say, hey, put down that microphone and head to my office. You finna be the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, effective immediately. He got that much clout? When the last time he got a ring? The finals. Resume is impeccable. I like Doc Rivers, though. Don't get me wrong. But I think the man is going off his cachet now. These teams are like, he's the man to get. He's finna get us a ring, a championship. I don't know if that's all true or not. Considering what the Bucks going through right now. Now look, he's got a lot to change around, especially on that defensive side of the ball. But it's so much to learn on the fly. A coach just getting plugged in right in the middle of the season. Pretty much changing the system a little bit. Might keep some things, but you want to implement his things as well. It's going to take some time. And to get some defense out of Damian Lillard and some of these other guys might be pulling teeth. Can it happen in time? This is a desperate team, and they showed that hiring Doc Rivers, getting rid of Adrian Griffin with a record they had. Told this man to get to walking. But we knew that was going to happen, whether it happened, in the middle of the season, which it did, or at the end of the season. We knew at some point he was going to go. Just wasn't looking right. They was dropping games that had no business dropping. When you got Indiana Pacers competing hard with you, pretty much like winning the series, just throwing you all over the place, bullying you, winning the games. They started writing on the wall. They got desperate and panicked and like, oh, whoa. We don't want to see this in the playoffs. We don't know what's going on. We got the talent there. But do we got the head coach? He over there looking around like he's Toucan Sam. We don't know. They made a move. Sonny Packing called for the doctor. They called the doctor to come fix it. We need an operation. Can you give it to us? Doc came. And he kind of like feeling his way. But they're dropping games. It takes time. Nobody's going to panic right away. They'll, of course, be in the hunt. But the way things are going for them right now, they're going to be a quick out, too, in the playoffs. They're going to be a quick out. If they make it to the second round, they'll be out in the second round. It really doesn't matter. But they'll have to change something around because they won't be in no finals playing the way they're playing right now. We know that. So in the rest of the season, we get into the middle of it. Haven't really been covering too much basketball because this football stuff been going on. But we're about to transition right into that. The Super Bowl is Sunday, and we're going to get to my picks. So, the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. This one was semi-tough. I know who I want to win it, but who is actually going to win it? That's the million-dollar question. Brock Purdy, Patrick Magician Mahomes. It's hard to go against the Magician. We all know that. On the biggest stage as well. Las Vegas. I'm going with the 49ers for a couple of reasons. One of them, I'm probably tired of Kansas City winning Super Bowls. Somebody has to take them down, knock them off the high horse. Another reason, we talked about that. They haven't been as sharp this year. They are beatable. And they escaped a lot of games they should have lost. Another reason, 49ers are hungry, and they've proven that they're hungry. They believe. They think it's their year. The defense gives me a lot of confidence and a lot of playmakers on offense. Well coached. I believe and they believe this is their moment. That's why I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers in this Super Bowl. Now, of course, just like any other Super Bowl, it can go either way. Both of these teams are here for a reason, because they're great, and it's going to be a battle of the wits. As far as the quarterback position, Patrick Mahomes got the edge, of course. Brock Purdy's up and coming, young quarterback, learning still. Kansas City Chiefs defense, their job is to get to him and rattle him. Get him to make some mistakes he made early on in the season and last season. Can they rattle him, speed him up, make him have flashbacks, make him say uncle early in this ball game? But the defense is so solid. I believe Patrick Magician Mahomes' magic is going to run out in the Super Bowl. I believe the 49ers will be able to pick him off, hit him around a little bit, and the magician plays that he's used to making on the run, picking up first downs, throwing the ball across the field, flicking the ball up. I think those will be turnovers in this Super Bowl. He will make plays. He will show his greatness, but I think he won't be able to make enough of those great plays to get him over the hump. Kelsey gonna do what he's gonna do. But I believe at the end of this ball game will be the 49ers who's gonna be standing strong, holding up that trophy. Just for Kansas City getting back to the Super Bowl, that's a feat. Feat in itself. They haven't looked good, but they're just showing their heart and their grit and their quarterback, coaching as well. But I just gotta go with the 49ers. It'll be a hell of a story for them. They've been knocking on the door year in, year out. Fan of John Lynch. I'm a fan of Shanahan. Not a Niner fan, but I respect the team and it's a good ball club. So that was quick. That's my pick. Going with those 49ers in Vegas. And what a Super Bowl is going to be. A lot of people predicting high-scoring game. I can see that happening as well. I can see it as a knockout, drag-out game. Because both of these defenses are good. It can be low-scoring, it can be high-scoring, just depending how this first quarter is going to go, how the assignments and the film room adjustments, how all those things are going to play out in this first quarter. Can decide it for us the points. But either or, it can be high scoring, it can be low scoring. It's going to be a good game all the way around, whether you get a lot of points or not. Because in between the touchdowns, it's going to be a lot of plays made on that green. Big pickups, exciting plays. Well, the key thing for the Kansas City Chiefs, if you're a Chiefs fan, is they got to load that box up a little bit. You got to stop McCaffrey. McCaffrey going to rush over 100 yards, going to be in trouble. You can't allow him to make plays all over the field. far as catching, running. You got to keep all purpose bottled up if you want to win this football game if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. That's your remedy. Because if he's doing everything, there you have it. These receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs, in the playoffs, they've been kind of showing up a little bit. There's no need to get tight in the Super Bowl. Will it show back up? Will it show its ugly head in the Super Bowl? That'll be a headline. But I feel comfortable with the 49ers. And once again, you never can bet against Patrick Magician Mahomes. It's not a safe bet. I'm doing it not for money, because if it was for money, it might be a different story in the Super Bowl. But you don't bet against Mahomes. You just don't do it. He's too tricky. He makes things happen. So that's my pick for the Super Bowl. Let me know who you believe is going to win the Super Bowl. Who are you going for? What are the chances on both sides? Weary Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of y'all evening. This Goodymo Sports Quick Hits. Thanks for y'all time. The usual. Subscribers, appreciate it. Hit the like button, share, and we'll catch y'all later. Football season is about over. NBA just begun. It doesn't get good in the NBA until after All-Star break. And we're right there. Trade deadline as well. See who's going to make the big moves. Who's going to add a powerhouse. What's going to change. Will Jalen Green still be a Rocket after the deadline? Who's going where? Are the Heat going to make a splash? We're going to see. We're going to see. So enjoy yourselves, and we out of here. Peace.